here, and we're going to start with obviously the very latest on the search for Nancy Guthrie, now entering week 2.
Day 17.
Mm-hmm.
And so the latest developments were the gloves, waiting on the DNA from inside the gloves. The DNA was sent to a lab in Florida, and they're trying to match it with the CODA. I believe it's a database,
Yep.
so that if there's familial DNA, if the suspect or whoever was wearing this glove in the DNA, they will be able to do that. Justin was out there. Justin Lamar, investigator, was out there yesterday. Gave us a great perspective of where the gloves were found, the street, turned it around, and kind of talked a little bit about how whoever may have thrown it out would have done so from a coming down the hill from the passenger side window.
Gotcha. So we love to get guests in to kind of talk about this, some experts, and we have Greg Sanfilippo. He is joining us here this morning. He is the vice president of Doyle Security Services and a former member of the New York City Police Force. Mr. Sanfilippo, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, my pleasure.
Let's jump right into it if we can and just kind of get, obviously you have been tracking this case, as have we, since the very beginning. What are some things that are kind of sticking out to you as far as this case continues now into week 2?
The information being put out to the public has been, something that we've all been able to track. You're able to see initially timelines being put out, two press releases, right? The first one just declaring that this is a crime, it's not a missing person. The second one, when the sheriff's department had that timeline, that's to help spark the public's memories, to try to get tips on the tips lines, right? And then they said, hey, we're not going to do any more press releases until we have something more to put out. And then you have a delay until you see that video, right? And again, that then, jogs everyone's memory and then gets all those tips coming in. So, as we wait now, for other press releases, the investigators are going back to work based off of those thousands of tips that have come in. But still, if you're in that listening area and have a tip that you think maybe something, encourage you definitely to call those tip lines and get whatever small piece of information could help piece that puzzle together.
Sure.
So yesterday, the sheriff said that all the family members, including their spouses, are clear. They are not suspects in this case. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation as to what may have occurred here. We have talked to a number of FBI experts, however, who have said typically in a situation like this, when a victim is of that age, Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old, it is someone who is known to the victim, to the family. What are your thoughts about this?
Absolutely agree. 85% of abductions, according to the FBI statistics, happen by someone that's close or known to the victim, right? So the sheriff came out and said, hey, the family is clear. I mean, the investigations always start based off of, it's a smaller circle compared to closer to the victim, right? The last person to see the victim, and then it expands outwards. So there's been a lot of investigation into the family and whatever verified alibis they have.
Sure.
Typically, you don't usually see an investigator saying, "Hey, these people are cleared." Right? We typically just hold on to that information until you get a break in the case. There's a lot of pressure in this one. There's a lot of pressure on the family. So the sheriff decided to make that statement.
Sure. I want to ask you too. I mean, obviously people, we've talked about it before on this show, is people are kind of conditioned. They watch those TV shows on prime time where a crime is solved in 30 minutes. This is going on 2 weeks, and I think a lot of people are getting very antsy. So as someone that has seen these cases, dealt with these types of cases before, can you just kind of maybe pull back the curtain a little bit on what is going on behind the scenes right now as these investigators and the FBI are kind of combing through, as you mentioned, those, I guess, thousands of tips that continue to come in?
Yeah, continue to talk to, some of the world's greatest detectives handled these cases like this on a daily basis. And, the timing and the timeline is progressing on the investigation side very rapidly, given the extra resources that you typically wouldn't necessarily see in just a local kidnapping case, right? This has a lot of notoriety. So you have the full resources of the FBI accelerating all those with all those specialized units and specialized capabilities. So it playing out in public becomes, look, when we hear about this case, we think about our moms and our grandmoms. This is an 84-year-old woman that's been away from her family for over 2 weeks. So it really tugs at the heartstrings. But these investigators are working day and night at a really, really accelerated pace.
Sure. Well, Greg, we really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and shedding some more insight on this case. As you mentioned, it's really kind of garnered a lot of national attention now. Everybody's kind of talking about it and watching every single development that comes out. So we do appreciate your insight.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Tiny.
Okay, we'll
Thank
talk
you.
soon.